When you're printing to roll media with an Epson printer, if you don't set things up properly, it's very easy to waste not only your time, but ink and paper. So before I print on roll media, I like to use due diligence in making sure my settings are correct. The first thing I like to do is to check that the image size that I have in Photoshop is the size that I want to print. I go up to Image Size. I see in this case this image is 16 by 24 at 240 ppi. That's exactly the size image that I want to print. Now, one thing to bear in mind is if you should have changed the canvas size and by increasing it, then that new canvas size becomes your image size. So I like to check the canvas size as well. To do that, I go up to Image, Canvas Size. In this case, I see that the canvas size is also 16 by 24, so we're all set. Now, when you go to print in Photoshop, when you select the File Print options, you can get a variety of printing menu submenus here. I like to use either the Print, or if it's available in the version of Photoshop you're using, Print with Preview. In this case, if I select Print, I immediately can tell something's wrong. Here's my preview of the image, and it's clearly not the entire image. If I look at it, you'll see that my 100% image is 16 by 24, but I'm not showing the entire image here. If I scale it to fit the media, I show the entire image. But look at the size. The size is only 5.5 by 8.25. If I select the other orientation, things look pretty good. The entire image is displayed, but notice the image size. It's 44.86% of full size, and it measures about 7 by 10 inches. So something is very wrong, and that's why I like to use these preview functions. It can tell you if something is really out of whack. If you look at this information and you look at the visual display, between the two you know something's not right. How do you fix that? Well, we're talking about the Epson 4900 here, but other printers are the same. If I select Page Setup, what I need to do to fix it, you can see what the problem is right here. The page size that's been described as 8.5 by 11. Clearly a 16 by 24 image is never going to fit on an 8.5 by 11 page size. How do we fix that? We go to User Defined, and we're going to define, what do you think? 16 by 24 as the page size. That'll work, right? Select 16 for the width, 24 by the height. Save it, select OK, and now we've selected 16 by 24 for page size. Image size is 16 by 24. That ought to work, right? Select OK, and guess what? When I scale it to fit the media, I'm at 15.25 by 23.65. Close, but no cigar. If I don't scale it to fit the media, I've got 100%, but it's not fitting the media. So something is not right yet. What's not right is if you're using an Epson printer and you're not selecting the borderless printing, then the printer presumes a small margin around the image, and that's to avoid spraying ink inside your printer. So how do you fix that? Well, it's very easy. Go back up to Page Setup. What you need to do is specify a page size which is bigger than your image size. Now, I like to use 1 inch in each dimension for an increase in size. So we'll go to User Defined here, and I'm going to define a new page size of 17 by 25 inches. 17 inches is the maximum width of the Epson 4900 printer, and 25 inches be the length. I'm going to save that and say OK. And now I've got a 17 by 25 page size and a 16 by 24 image size. That ought to work. If I select OK, you can see I'm at 100%. I'm 16 by 24 inches. If I scale to fit the media, it actually gets to be bigger, at 103%. So without scaling it, I now have exactly 16 by 24%, and I'm at 100%. And guess what? The image looks right too. I got a border all the way around it. If I made a mistake and selected the wrong orientation, that would be immediately obvious again. So it's a great check that everything is okay. Checking these numbers and checking the visual result of flipping the orientation will tell you right away if you have a problem with your setup. I hope that this video has been helpful to you. Happy printing.